Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we're speculating on Kyrie's next move, a monumental off-white sneaker, this week's hottest releases, and of course, our Hard Pass. All right, let's start with some hot takes. Next up in the Nike is coming for your favorite bootleg sneaker makers parade are Kai and Ami. You might recognize their work, which includes slapping a lightning bolt on knockoff Jordans and Dunks, and, well, that's all they did, really. Look, just like Warren Lotus, John Geiger, and everybody else that tries to fuck around, at some point, you're gonna find out. Some might feel more personal than others, but at the end of the day, Nike's protecting their IP whether you like it or not. Oh, and the pictures you're seeing here, they're from a post by Devlin Carter, founder of Sia Collective. He knows a thing or two about changing it just enough. So, Scottie Pippen is selling sneaker NFTs. Look, come on, Scottie. We want to support you, we really do. Do cameos. Tell Nike to retro your signature shoes, especially the Pippen 2s. Sell your wine, your book, a remake of Slam City on Sega CD, anything. Everybody's getting in on the artificial intelligence selfie generator bandwagon. Make anime Scottie Pippen and sell that somehow. I've done it, and as you can see in these pictures, I think it worked well. I look good, man. Breaking news, Tim Duncan dressed like a slow night on the League Fits account. That's it. That's all I have to say to someone who kept my 17-time world champion Los Angeles Lakers from being at least 19 or 20-time world champion Los Angeles Lakers. Shout out to the Adidas Forum Low Grinch colorway for getting people worked up about who owns the Grinch color scheme. Apparently, the unofficial Grinch-inspired Kobe 6 Grinches were so good that nobody, not even Universal, who owns the Grinch trademark, is allowed to make official Grinch sneakers with Adidas. Gotta let the hate go, kids. It's the holidays. Can't let your heart be an empty hole or your brain be full of spiders or have garlic in your soul. That's co-writer's job. Kyrie Irving is now a sneaker-free agent. Why did this all feel like we've been talking about this for like a year or so? Right. Well, it's because we've been talking about this for a year or so. It didn't just start this week or last month like a certain segment of social media would have you believe. According to Shams Charania of The Athletic, Nike and Irving parted ways 11 months before the deal was set to expire. In a statement to the New York Times, Nike said Kyrie Irving is no longer a Nike athlete. Shatilia Riley Irving, Kai's agent and stepmother, also released a statement to the Times saying, "We mutually decided to part ways and we just wish Nike all the best." While Nike did not officially launch the final Kyrie signature shoe, the Kyrie 8, 4 colorways, the Orca, the Chinese New Year, the Circle of Life, and the white and red pair are now being sold on reseller platforms as we speak. While reps are always a possibility nowadays, these are more than likely authentic shoes that were shipped to resellers and sold early or leaked to resellers. Here's the reality that a lot of people either don't want to admit or are being intentionally obtuse because of reasons that I can't fathom and don't even want to entertain. The Nike and Kyrie divorce was inevitable. This was always going to happen. Reconciliation was off the table. It was set in motion last year when Kai expressed his disappointment over the design and the rollout of the Nike Kyrie 8, which would be rebranded as the Infinity. Combine that with Irving's absence for a good chunk of last season over his unvaccinated stance and his frequent rotation of sneakers that only sometimes included the Infinity, it was clear that both sides were just exhausted of each other. By May of this year, reports were coming out that Nike was unlikely to extend Irving's contract, and honestly, Kai didn't seem to be bummed about it. It looked like both sides were just content to run the clock out, sell the Nike Kyrie 8 with as little fanfare as possible and move on. But after Kyrie's ill-advised tweet, the timeline accelerated. And no, we're not going to relitigate that saga because, again, we think it's in everyone's best interest to move on. And now, we're here. In Irving's first game since the news broke, he wore a pair of Nike Kyrie 3s with the swoosh taped up and the message, "I am free." He also tweeted that anyone who has ever spent their hard-earned money on anything I have ever released, I consider you family, and we are forever connected. It's time to show how powerful we are as a community. Gee, I wonder if people are going to take that last line too seriously. The chatter surrounding Irving's departure from Nike was always going to be there. The comments of every Nike and Kai related post was going to be filled with his supporters saying what they were going to say. But Shams poured gasoline on the situation when he followed up his tweet about the separation with news that Ja Morant was getting his own signature shoe with Nike. Why Shams felt the need to post that and quote tweet his own Kyrie post is obvious. Engagement and whatnot. But it created this new and totally unnecessary wrinkle to the story. A Ja Morant Nike signature shoe was already in the works and reported on months ago. At the same time, Nike and Devin Booker were also developing Book's signature shoe debut. Nike did not drop Kyrie this week and then just started to work on Ja and Book's sneaker. Nike's ideal situation would have been a fall 2023 rollout with signature shoes from LeBron, Kyrie, KD, Giannis, Ja, Book, and Kobe Protros. That would have been the deepest roster Nike has had since the 90s heyday of Jordan, Penny, Pippen, Barkley, Peyton, Kidd, and the Nike Air Alonzo. Really, co-writer? We're really counting? Anyway, go ahead and criticize Nike for dropping Kai. We don't care, but at least understand the context and get the timeline in order. Anyways, with Kyrie now set to chart a new sneaker journey, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands next. Has the past month affected his brand so much that no company wants to be associated with him? Or will they just wait for the temperature to cool down and make their move? Let's take a look at the landscape and see the level of interest brands might have in bringing Kyrie in. Adidas. Wait, no, wait. no, maybe, no. Could it, no. Wait, maybe. Maybe. Puma. It's not impossible, but Puma might look at Kyrie as a redundancy to LaMelo Ball, i.e. a gifted playmaker who is good for a highlight or two every night. Ball is also 21 years old compared to Kai's 30. Kai also hasn't played more than 70 games in a season since leaving Cleveland in 2017. Under Armour, 2 words, Curry brand. Next, Reebok. Kai is the most popular scoring point guard since Allen Iverson, so Reebok could tell that story of AI passing the torch, but it would definitely get people paying attention to Reebok for the first time in a long time. It might just be worth it for them. Fila. Fila probably already has a contract ready to go if somebody from Kyrie's camp reaches out. They've got to have that, right? And then reconciliation with Nike. It's a never say never business, but I think the door on this one is all but shut. It's more likely we will see a handful of Kyrie retros several years from now without any Kai branding. That'll be an interesting task because every Kai shoe is loaded with references. But hey, Nike's done it before, and I'm sure they'll do it again. Li-Ning, Anta, or Peak. 10 years ago, a championship caliber superstar who was once the face of an American sneaker brand signed a long-term deal with a Chinese brand for not just more money, but more control and oversight. Could Kai go the Dwayne Wade route? Not gonna lie, the logic pretzels some Kai supporters would have to make in order to make sense of this move would be hilarious. Kai brand. We called this in our NBA season predictions way before the drama of the past month. Kyrie has never been one to be shy about expressing himself. When he was available to the media during Nike events and random Call of Duty matches, the conversations co-writer and I had with him always started with shoes, but it often drifted away from actual physical shoes to the general idea of shoes and what they represent. It only takes a few minutes before you catch on that Kai had thoughts and goals that he was never going to be able to fulfill while working with Nike. As evidenced by this past month and really this past year, those thoughts don't always take into account anybody but himself, but we want to believe his heart is in the right place. Kai is pro-black. His website is dedicated to educating all into the struggles of black people and to uplifting black-owned businesses by featuring them and linking to their products. Kai flipping the narrative of the past year around and building a black-owned sneaker brand that is thriving would be the best possible outcome. Well, it would be the best possible outcome for him off the court. There's still the whole Kyrie really hasn't done anything of significance since he made that Game 7 go-ahead shot in 2016 narrative that he has to overcome, but that's a different story for a different time. It's time for the Heat Check, where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. We have the Nike Dunk Low Mineral Slate and Armory Navy on the 13th for $120, the Air Jordan 9 Fire Red on the 13th for $200, the New Balance 550 Vintage Indigo on the 14th for $110, the Billie Eilish Nike Air Force 1 Low Mushroom and Sequoia on the 14th for $140 each, the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Phantom on the 15th, the Air Jordan 1 Low Golf Cave Purple on the 16th for $140, Air Jordan 7 Cardinal on the 17th for $210. Then the women's Nike Air Max 1 Magma Orange on the 17th for $160. And then for the pick of the week, it's the Sacai Nike Zoom Cortez Iron Gray on the 13th for $180. You ever notice that the most sought after Sacai Nike collabs are not the colorways with the loudest colors, but rather the ones that are black, white, and varying shades of gray? What I'm saying is that as much as we would like to own a pair of the Chitose Abe remix pair of the Cortez, they are not going to be easy to get on sneakers, and the resale for them will be out of the reasonable range. And by reasonable, I mean anything that's $50 above retail. Let's do a heat check on the off-white Nike Terraforma, a hiking boot design that, according to Sneaker's description, is the first from scratch design by the late Virgil Abloh in collaboration with Nike that we will see at a retail release. Personally, that was a bit of a shock because Virgil and Nike released a number of shoes that range from the super hyped like the original The 10 collection to pairs that you saw sitting on shelves like the Vapor Streets or the Terra Kygers and the stuff that was firmly in the middle ground like the Rubber Dunks. I probably assumed or maybe even heard that one of those was a Virgil original, but I guess not. Anyways, at least I didn't throw a fit about it online. I now understand the context and have my timeline in order, so I feel like I can offer an opinion with some authority here. With the release date for later this month, the buzz for these has been, let's be honest, muted. It's not another piece meant to commemorate a museum exhibit. It doesn't have a Louis Vuitton cosign. It's not a deconstruction of an iconic silhouette, and it's not one of the 50 dunks that people chase like Panini Prisms. It's a Nike hiking boot designed by Virgil Abloh, not unlike his off-white solo offerings that you can find at a Bloomingdale's or a Nordstrom's. And those usually just sit, waiting to go on sale. Since this is Virgil's first original design with Nike, I'm very curious to see what the response for them will be. Will that nugget of information elevate the shoe to the same levels of his Air Force Ones or Air Jordan 1 creations? It's not impossible, but it's unlikely because of the shoe's lack of nostalgic callbacks that are necessary for something to be hyped these days. Will it be easy to pick up like the Vapor Streets? I think that's more likely, but I think there will be a significant number of fans who will pick up a pair to pay homage to Virgil. And because they are made for the outdoors, seeing them on Fairfax and Melrose might not make sense in the summertime. Then again, I've seen worse, so I shouldn't assume something is not made for Fairfax and Melrose. So if I had to predict where this will land in the pantheon of Off-White and Nike collabs, it's somewhere right in the middle, alongside the Rubber Dunks. Personally, I would love to own a pair because they remind me of an ISPA sneaker, Nike's experimental brand that is full of sneakers with unconventional designs and production techniques. Hopefully, I'll be able to pick up a pair in the next few weeks. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass. We'll take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go, like sneakers with the initials IRL, aka in real life. Nothing says I'm a giant mark or I never leave the house more than having a pair of kicks that says IRL. Not that there's anything wrong with staying at home. I mean, this whole studio is home, but then again, I didn't make millions of dollars during the crypto boom and got out before the crypto crash, so what do I know? Wait. I do know something, and that's this week's Hard Pass goes to the Nike Hyper Adapted BB the Artifact Nike Crypto Kick IRL. Man, that's a weird slip of the tongue. I wonder what could have caused me to say that. There's nothing about the Crypto Kicks that looked like a rebranded Hyper Adapt sneaker. Nothing. No, nothing at all. Anyways, the shoes were launched this past week via public draw that lasted for 2 days. 2 days. That's a good idea. To enter the draw, you need an Artifact account, a crypto wallet supported by some company that better not have Sam Bankman-Fried on its board, 0.5 Ethereum, which is valued at $616 currently, and a valid US shipping address. So a Nike account, a credit card with X amount of available credit, and a valid US shipping address that can only be tied to one person. Couldn't that work with sneakers? Nah, it's too easy. It's too easy. They'd find a way to mess that up. All right, so Crypto Kicks. So if you're one of the 19,000 lucky winners, you will be able to purchase the NFT that unlocks the physical shoe. On December 12th at 1:30 p.m. PST, the minting of these NFTs will commence, and from there, they will be able to pick what colorway they want. That will determine the breakdown of how many of each Crypto Kicks is out there. So maybe there's 7,000 of the Space Matter, 3,000 of the Blackout, 2,000 of the Stone, and 6,000 of the Ice colorway that totally doesn't look like an Air Mag homage. As of this recording, it's unclear if you have to make your decision as soon as you receive the NFT or if you have a few days, weeks, or months to think it over. It's also unclear if that 19,000 number means that only 19,000 of these Crypto Kicks will ever be made, since each pair has to be tied to their specific NFT. And maybe most importantly, we don't know when Nike will send the winners their shoes. Like, will they start making them once everybody has had their choice? What happens if the shoe is defective or runs into the same issues as previous Hyperdapts? Won't be selling these be a nightmare because you can't just sell the shoes, you also have to sell the NFTs that's tied to it? What if you lose the password to the NFT? Won't the shoes be devalued or rendered worthless if Nike retros these kicks down the line? Did Nike just figure out a way to keep true believers invested in the Nike ecosystem by selling them JPEGs? Bing bong. And you thought sneakers was confusing? Come on, people. Anyway, that's going to do it for this show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I'm Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to be possibly featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you next week. Peace.